suffer from the distortion of the truth. East Asian people are also have the misfortune, like us, of having large brains and high intelligence. Children in the San Francisco, in the Chinatown district of San Francisco, have one of the highest test scores in the city, in spite of the fact that their families are poor and they often come from families where English is not the first language spoken. Yet these children, these Asian children, just like white children, are denied a slot in the University of California system, a slot that goes to a less qualified, less intelligent black person. One seldom hears Chinese Americans talking about the slave-like conditions that Chinese people were subjected to in the mines and while building the railroads in the 1800s. East Asian people do not have to resort to the triple threat of rioting, looting, and burning. They can succeed through intelligence and hard work. So we're not the only ones that suffer from affirmative action. Sure thing.
Why do you think the whites are so susceptible to these guilt trips that are hung on the vast majority of the population out there that's not attending this conference?
Okay. I think I blame social workers, sociologists, psychologists, educators, people who supposedly have liberal political and social viewpoints. I think that, let me put it this way, just as in Hitler Germany, people were taught that they should hate Jews. So we are being taught that we should feel guilty because of the condition the blacks are in, because of the past. I think it's people in my field are guilty. Also, I think there probably are not as many, there are too many white people who feel guilty, but the number may be less than we think. A lot of white people may say they feel guilty because it's the socially acceptable thing to say. Oh, I feel so badly that this great-great-great-grandfather of this person is a slave. One of the things that has always seemed so strange to me is that psychologists and educators should know more about intelligence testing than people in any other field, and yet they are the people that are most likely to distort the truth. If you ask an average person, somebody with an IQ of 100 who, after he graduated from college, started working in a factory, if you ask him about black-white differences in intelligence, he or she would say, that's a strange question. Everybody knows that blacks are not very bright. I think that we are in a society where we have lost our freedom of speech. 5 minutes, okay. Oh, okay. I have 5 minutes, so I will skip some stuff, and I skip lots of stuff, and I will go to, the matter that Jared suggested that I tackle. And that is, will black persons be demoralized by public statements about the truth? Here's what I have to say, and I'll say it quickly in 5 minutes. Sometimes it is best not to tell people the truth if it's too painful. Sometimes it's best not to tell young children that Santa Claus does not really exist. Sometimes it's best not to tell terminally ill people that they're terminally ill. And one could argue that would be too demoralizing to black persons if the truth were told. However, I have several reasons for disagreeing with this position. First of all, I believe that many black persons at some level are already aware that their ethnicity tends to be distinctly average in intelligence. Many blacks know that they do not well in school as whites do. They know that the quarterback on a football team is usually white. They know that on television quiz shows, we have the brightest children in the country. You don't see any black kids. Secondly, I think that most North Americans of all ethnicities already know that blacks are intellectually dull. There's one study, in fact, done by Phil Rushton, in which Canadian white and Asian students were asked to rate whites, blacks, and Asians on several dimensions, and both the whites and the Asians rated the blacks lowest in intelligence and black size, and brain size. Skip over some more stuff, and I'll say nature is cruel and nature is unfair. Some people are ugly. Some people have defective vision. Some people are too poorly coordinated to be successful in sports. Some men have small penises. Some women are flat-chested. It is not only individuals, but groups that are given a raw deal by nature. Vietnamese tend to be too small to play professional football. Native Americans and Asians are prone to tuberculosis. Russians are prone to alcoholism. White men are more prone to baldness than are black men and Asian men. However, people have to adjust to the limitations that they have. A denial of limitation is not helpful in coping with that limitation. I'll talk fast. Skip some more stuff. It could be argued that the denial of intellectual superiority of whites is demoralizing to them. I was talking recently with a friend who was in France, and he was amazed at how many blacks and Arabs there were. He didn't know how many there. He didn't expect so many. But one of the things that he noticed is that the French white people tend to have a pride in being white. We have lost that. We've told that we are evil people. Furthermore, we have to bear in mind that it is blacks and not whites that have taken an adversarial posture. They're not worried about hurting our feelings. They're not worried about hurting us physically, psychologically, or in any other way. And I say the media can probably not be counted on to play a major role in the education of the public. My mother recently loaned me a book called The Race Card by Peter Collier and David Horowitz. And this book describes countless crimes of blacks upon whites that are just as atrocious as the crime in which a black man was dragged behind a car to his death. The editors suppress this information. They suppress black on white crime. They don't tell us, they don't allow us to know that it's 18 times more common for a black to kill a white than a white to kill a black. Wrap it up? Okay, I'll go very rapidly. Okay. I wish to conclude by saying that all of us should fight to overcome racial injustice in the United States. There has never been a time when white people are being attacked more. I believe that much of their anger is basic jealousy because we are not as bright as they are. We must tell the truth that we are better endowed intellectually than they are, and the truth shall set us free. Okay.
Yes, hi. I have a question about individuals with Down syndrome. I've heard that they're very docile, and would they be an exception to the rule with low intelligence and high crime owing to the extra chromosome and so forth? The second question I have is, would studying genuine genetic differences in intelligence lead to scientific advancements in the future that would potentially allow intelligence to be raised by medication or genetic engineering or so forth and so on?
Okay. The second question, the lower you go, okay, the first question, the lower you go in IQ, the more the antisocial behavior. One of the reasons that mentally retarded people are placed in institutions is they engage in a lot of aggressive behavior, sexually inappropriate behavior, and so forth. To further answer the first part of your question, yes, it's generally thought that people with Down syndrome are more docile on the average of other people who are retarded. The second question was, can we do very much to improve IQ? Probably the best way that we can improve IQ with both blacks and with whites, with all races, is to discourage the lesser intelligent people from having children and encouraging the more intelligent people to have children. I'm not stating that I recommend that. I'm saying that that's the best way that this can be done. We certainly can improve intelligence somewhat by preventing the factors that decrease intelligence lower than genetic capacity. We certainly can prevent prenatal, perinatal problems. We certainly should encourage pregnant women not to consume alcohol or to take illicit drugs. But there are no, but basically, if I could put things in layman's language, some people are born smart and some people are born stupid, and there's not a hell of a lot that we can do about it. Okay.
Yeah, my question is, rather recently I read that conservatives on average have a 10-point advantage in IQ over liberals. This tends to be confirmed by the fact that 90% of the blacks do vote Democratic. The question I have is, have you done any kind of IQ studies on the correlation between political belief and IQ?
No, I have not. I think there will be a methodological difficulty insofar as so many well-educated people feel forced to claim they have liberal points of view. So you don't know what their real attitudes are. But let me say that it's for the most part, it's my experience that for the most part, it's the brightest psychologists who believe in inherent intellectual differences between blacks and whites. the intellectually dull psychologists, those are just like